Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I'd like to start off and apologize. I had a little operator error on my part on the website because the title of my speech was supposed to be Grandparents and, don't count that against me, the lessons that they taught me. So I'll get a little lesson on how to run with the website and get that done. But what I'd like to do is to talk about my grandparents and the lessons that they taught me. I was fortunate enough to have 4 grandparents for most of my life, and due to brevity of the speech, I'm going to limit it to 2 of them. The first of which is my grandfather, Richard Case. And then my second one is my grandmother, Jean Medell, both of which have rather interesting nicknames, and I'll get to that in a second. Richard Case is my mother's father. He is also an avid outdoorsman and grew up in upstate New York and taught me how to hunt and to fish and have a great appreciation of the outdoors. He taught me how to fly fish, and he also taught me how to fire a shotgun safely and respect for firearms. Now, to his nickname, as a little guy, I had 2 papas, and I was trying to determine how I could share with my friends stories about the papas without getting them confused. So I wanted a differentiator. And my grandfather, Case, has a unique attribute about him that I'd be willing to bet that not many papas in the whole country have. He has a trout stream and a waterfall in his backyard. So Papa Case became Papa Waterfall. The story I'd like to tell is actually my first time duck hunting with Papa Waterfall. Cousins came up from Binghamton, New York, spent the night, and we got up at dark 30 to go duck hunting at a marsh not too far from my grandfather's house. So we pile into the car, we go out, my uncle and my grandfather set up all the decoys, it's still dark out. And my cousin Richard and Patrick and I, Richard and I are the same age, and Patrick's a few years younger. I was 9, and Patrick was probably about 5. And just as my grandfather said, as the light started coming up over the marsh, activity would start happening as daylight approached. And he was right. You could hear the ducks, you could hear them flying. I looked to my left past my grandfather, and I could see his retriever trembling with anticipation because he knew what was about to kick off. A few moments later, I knew the game was really going to start when I heard my uncle and my grandfather click the safeties off of their shotguns because it was getting to be go time. Well, of course, the next sound that I thought I was going to hear was the bang of the shotguns and the rush of the dog going out to retrieve the ducks. That's not what we heard. We heard my little cousin Patrick jump up and yell, wave his arms, "Fly, duckies, fly! Daddy's going to shoot you!" So that lesson we all learned was, don't take a kid who loves animals on a duck hunting trip. The other thing that he taught me was a real love of literature and reading and using your imagination. For him, the classic authors were Jack London, Ernest Hemingway, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I still have those books that he gave me, some of which, in those volumes, were given to him as a child from his father and his grandfather. What a neat thing for me to have in my collection. Moving on to my grandmother, her nickname was Ducks. I did not have the ability to give her that name because that came actually in the late 40s. She and my grandfather went to a movie, a British movie actually, and they were using British colloquialisms back and forth. For the male actors, it was like, "Hello, governor." And for the ladies, one of them in particular looked like my grandmother, so my grandfather thought her nickname was Ducks. So that's how she got her nickname. But what she imparted to me was a real love and respect and faith in family. He knew that she loved you, that she loved her husband, that she loved her children and her grandchildren. What a wonderful thing. Secondly, she taught me the Lord's Prayer. I was so young, I don't remember actually what she taught me. When I was a child, a very young child, I used to spend weekends or a week with them, and they had a cottage, a bungalow on the shore in New Jersey. And I can still vividly remember her coming in, tucking me into bed, and sitting next to me in the bed, and reciting the Lord's Prayer with me. It may have taken 4 times, it may have taken 24 times. The point's not important. The point is that she taught me the Lord's Prayer. Again, what a wonderful gift that she was able to share with me. A lesson, another lesson that I learned. Now I challenge all of you to think about the important people in your lives and the lessons that they taught you that helped form you into the person that you are today. those are the lessons that I learned. Mr. Toastmaster.